best investment you can make as an entrepreneur. So I've been learning what actually is the best investment. And I'm not going to tell like it's crypto, it's stocks, it's real estate, like none of that. Like I'm not going to tell you a tangible asset. But what I will tell you is probably the most important asset you must invest. And that is your mind. I think in Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad Poor Dad book, I think that's where I learned the concept of investing in your education. Now, I have other YouTubers, not YouTubers, like other entrepreneurs like Alex Hormozy or even Luke Belmar, who say the same thing about educating yourself. Because something profound that I heard from Luke, where he was talking about how being poor is a sickness of the mind. And it hit me. It goes, you are not rich because you have the money. No, you are not successful because you have the money. The wealth is a byproduct of you being successful. And that like blew my mind. And basically, at this point, if you want to become wealthy, you have to educate yourself. It's not about investing in the right stock or investing in the right real estate. It's just educating yourself at a point where you become an individual that is capable of making these decisions and choices. And the byproduct is your wealth. So in terms of education, what am I talking about? Usually these guys don't talk about university education. It seems like recently, well, I think there was an interesting look up Jake Tran universities or college is a scam or something. Like you are spending for the Americans up to $100,000, $120,000 in student debt loans. Like, once you turn 18, go into debt, spend 3 or 4 years in college or university. Then the statistics, if you look up as well, what's his name? Improvement Pill by Colleges is a Scam. He pulls up like statistics about the amount of college graduates who actually get to have a job after college. And I think from the top of my head, because it was a long time ago watching that video, I think it was like 50%. I want to say more, but again, you can't, don't quote me on it, because I can't remember the specific statistic. It was a lot though, that most of them didn't use their degree that they had studied in college for their job. Like after college, they went to have a job that didn't require their degree. So then they are in debt, which is sort of not a mode of slavery. Like, imagine if someone told you owe me $1 million, so now whatever you earn is forever mine. That is sort of slavery, isn't it? Well, the modern form of slavery. Well, this idea of slavery we have is if we don't get paid. But if you see, I think about when people take out a car loan, like that one's a strange idea as well, because that's another concept in Robert Kiyosaki's book about good debt and poor debt. Usually the wealthy take good debt that will actually make them more money. So like having a mortgage and then doing the math and seeing if the rent or the value, if the payments for the mortgage are less than the rental payments, then you're making money. So you should actually take that debt rather than buying out all in cash. Then there's poor debt, which is taking on debt on depreciating assets, usually cars. Another one he argues in that book was residential homes, like the home you're living in, because if you're paying the mortgage of a home that you're living in, you're not actually earning any money because you're not taking money from a tenant, which I solely agree. But again, this is all from educating myself, like rather than being closed-minded, rather than, again, that's another concept that I think Andrew Tate talks about is most people are arrogant, most people are ignorant, and most people are dumb. Or not most, but they haven't achieved what they wanted to achieve in life because they are either too arrogant to learn the methods to achieve it or too ignorant to learn the methods to achieve it. And again, the number one asset you have is your mind. That's the one thing that no one can take away from you. So as an entrepreneur right now, well, you're not an entrepreneur until you have a business. You're kind of like a hustler at the moment. And that's another concept Luke talks about. You want to eventually switch over from this hustling mode to businessman mode, or businessman mindset, which is instead of you reacting, you're the one actually being proactive and leading a team or leading yourself. But educating yourself, I sort of had the idea because I was supposed to go to university and I don't think I will anymore. I'm going to take a sales job instead. My degree would have costed, I think, it would have been 30 grand. No, not 30 grand. 12 grand. It would have been 12 grand a year for 3 years, so 36 grand. So I've got a 36 grand budget to spend on my own self-education. Which could be anything. Courses, books, mentorship. Like that's going to be fantastic to a point if I have a business and then I pay someone to actually give me insight and show me my blind spots. Because that's going to be more valuable, I think, rather than going to a university lecture and learning theory all the time. Again, it's up to, like that's the old form of education. Now with the internet and the new age of the modern age, we have a string of information out there that's up for grabs, which is now not behind some big paywall or some, like, I can think of Luke, I think talking about, I think it uses the analogy of the bankers being the so almost like the firewall to the common people trying to understand finance, like the Wall Street brokers, or the church having all their scriptures in Latin because most people didn't know Latin, so most of people's knowledge of religion had to be through them. So instead, maybe educate yourself so you don't need someone, or you don't need to pay someone. How do I put this? You do not want to have a wall, or you don't want to go through someone to acquire knowledge. It should be direct. It's like, for example, right now I'm actually reading a book about taxes, because as much as we don't like to pay our accountants, they're going to save us a lot of money on tax. Instead, I want to have some basic knowledge on taxes, or a good amount of knowledge about taxes, so when it comes time to sit down with an expert, at least I have my own knowledge to compare with theirs. Because again, it's about educating yourself and being an individual or autonomous individual that can just educate themselves. And that's where I drive the home forward. It's all, you are a student of life. You have so much to learn. We have so much to learn. And most people stop their education after high school. They stop learning. Rather, they're consuming entertainment content, being mindless. Not like us, where we're trying to educate ourselves, or we're trying to better ourselves. I think the reason why we better ourselves is because we have the consciousness to realize I am not there yet. And most people can't have that realization because they're scrolling, scrolling. So, don't be afraid to invest. And now I'm talking about actual money. Do not be afraid to invest in your own education. If you see a course, if you see a mentorship program, if you see something that you see value in that will increase your earning potential, go for it. Go for it. Because again, it's for your own learning benefit. Like, for example, I bought Hustlers University. I think I bought Grow Your Agency by Iman Ghazi. In turn, I've got Hamza's productivity course. What else have I bought in education? I bought multiple books. I bought a Kindle for my own reading. What else? Again, this is like Iman's, I think it was a couple of grand, and then Hustlers University, a cumulative, it must be like about 500 or 1,000 by now, because I did it start of 2021. Like, this is all for my own self-education, because I can't believe people don't bat an eye when they buy new clothes or a new car or even like food, but then they bat an eye when it comes to their education. Like, I understand when you think, oh, this guy's a scammer, when he has like $1,000 course that claims he'll increase my earning potential, make me learn how to sell, or all that. Like, yeah, of course, do your own research and education, which in terms of which is the best course on the market currently that will give you the most return on your investment, which is knowledge. But I just think we have the wrong priority. We're prioritizing consuming entertainment content or materialistic things rather than putting those funds into education. And Alex Hormozi drives the point, you should aggressively invest in yourself. Aggressively. Because what's the point? What's the point of holding on the money when you can spend it, invest it in yourself, increase your earning potential, and you'll make that money back anyways. So don't bat an eye when it comes to your education. And again, I want to drive the home. I'm not talking about traditional education like university or high school. With the internet, you can literally go on YouTube. It's for free. All you have to do is apply the lessons. Apply the lessons into your own life. And it's hard. When you learn a new mindset, that's hard because you need experience and application to change your mindset. Education is going to be the way forward. This thing, your mind, is what will help you achieve the success that you want. But again, success is only the byproduct. Money is the byproduct of being successful. And in order to be successful, you must educate yourself. So if you are an entrepreneur or a businessman or someone who wants to get into this space of earning money, I'll give you a list. And I think Luke has mentioned it in a data set of his. Learn what money is. Go out there and learn what it is, because how can you understand something which you do not understand? Learn what money is. Then probably learn how to sell, because I think I read it in a book it's called Fanatical Prospecting. I can't remember the phrase, but it says, talking about Newton's third law, if an object is at rest, it will stay at rest. It's the same as in business. Nothing happens in business until sales is transacted. Basically, sales is the fundamental fundamental block to anything in business. It starts with sales. So probably want to start with sales. And I'll probably also recommend you Hamza's video, How to Make 10K per month. He mentions the new meta of being your authentic self, being on camera, being a synthesizer. So that could be a good education. Oh yeah, that's another one, podcasts. Listen to intelligent people and smart people, people that you want to be. People who, you only take the advice of people that you would swap places with, or people that have been where you want to be. You want to be here, they have already been there. So listen to those people, because you want to be more like, not more like, there's like a saying, you are the average of the 5 people you hang out with. Probably a new phrase now is, you are the average of the 5 people you consume content from. So listen to podcasts, long form content, like going through Instagram and seeing all the reels about, like, that's not educational. That's just dopamine hit. Like, to actually sit down, either read, watch a podcast, like put your full attention into this podcast, into consuming the education. Buy courses. Like, all this is going to aid you in educating yourself. Because I think the last concept I want to talk about is Alex Hormozi mentions is you have an ignorance debt. Like, think of the number you're currently earning right now. We all want to make $1 million. Let's say that out loud. So if you have $1 million, let's say for example you're only making 30 grand a year. So you've got a $970,000 ignorance debt that you're paying. So now you have to educate yourself and apply those lessons and put it into application to try and pay off that debt. Because there is a reason why you're not earning $1 million. There is a reason. Again, don't get too wrangled up about it, because you can't control the output. You can only control the input. That's another thing you'll learn. And the success will only be the byproduct of just input, of daily habit. So, educate yourself. Learn, and you'll always be a learner of life. And I believe that. So if you're like us, learn. So, I hope this video helps.